The lost metropolis of Samar, the mystery of Biringan city. Deep within the dense, unexplored forests of Samar lies a place that does not appear on any modern map, yet thousands of people swear it is entirely real. They call it Biringan city, a legendary, hyper-advanced metropolis existing in a parallel dimension, invisible to the naked eye. Witnesses describe a breathtaking urban landscape of towering, jet-black skyscrapers, glowing cathedral-like structures, and technology centuries ahead of our time. But Biringan is not a paradise. It is a shifting, predatory labyrinth that actively lures in unsuspecting travelers, fishermen, and delivery drivers, pulling them across a dimensional boundary into a beautiful, terrifying world from which few ever return. I'm an expat living out in the provinces, and you're watching Mysteries of the Philippines. When you look at a satellite map of the eastern Visayas, the interior of Samar appears as a vast canopy of deep, green mountains and winding river networks. It seems entirely wild. Yet for decades, a bizarre rumor has persisted among commercial pilots, ship captains, and military radar operators. They claim that under specific atmospheric conditions or during a new moon, standard navigation equipment will suddenly detect a massive, heavily populated urban grid right in the middle of the uninhabited jungle. Radar screens flare up with non-existent structures, and compass needles spin erratically. To the modern mind, it looks like a massive software glitch. But to the locals who live along the provincial borders, it is clear evidence that the gates to the Phantom City have opened once again. The anatomy of an invisible kingdom. The name Biringan literally translates in the local dialect to the city of the blind or the place of lost ones. According to deep spiritual lore, it is the ancestral seat of the Encantos, ancient, powerful, and strikingly beautiful humanoids with pale skin, ethereal features, and a complete lack of a philtrum, the groove beneath the human nose. The city they have constructed is a masterpiece of dark, Gothic engineering. Unlike human cities built from concrete and glass, Biringan's towering spires are said to be made of a highly reflective, obsidian-like stone that absorbs the light of the moon. There are no power lines or engines, yet the city glows with a soft, ambient violet and crimson luminescence, operating on a form of energy that completely defies modern physics. The missing cargo shipments. The mystery moves from ancient tribal folklore into modern corporate confusion through a series of documented, inexplicable business anomalies. In the 1970s and 80s, major manufacturing companies and heavy equipment distributors in Manila allegedly received massive cash up-front orders for industrial materials, luxury vehicles, and high-end construction supplies. The billing addresses provided on the official invoices were highly specific, complete with street names and zip codes, clearly identifying the destination as Biringan City, Samar. The delivery drivers and cargo ship captains, entirely unfamiliar with provincial geography, loaded the materials and headed into the interior of the island. Weeks later, the trucks were found completely abandoned at the absolute edge of the jungle roads, their cargo entirely gone, and the drivers completely missing without a trace. The disappearance of Carolina de Guzman, among the many tales of those pulled into the city's orbit. The story of Carolina de Guzman remains the most chilling. Carolina was a brilliant young engineering student from Samar who moved to Manila for her studies. Shortly after graduation, she wrote a series of letters to her family, ecstatically claiming she had been recruited by a prestigious firm to work on a massive, highly secretive urban development project right in her home province. She sent home large sums of money, but her letters grew increasingly strange, describing an incredibly wealthy city where the sun never fully rose and the buildings touched the clouds. When her worried family went to investigate the corporate office listed on her letters, they found a vacant lot. Carolina was never seen in the human world again. The letter from the dimension. Years after Carolina's total disappearance, a local spiritual medium in her hometown allegedly delivered a final, handwritten message to her grieving mother. The letter, written in Carolina's exact, distinct handwriting, offered a terrifying glimpse into her new reality. She claimed she was deeply happy, married to a wealthy nobleman, and living in unimaginable luxury within the walls of Biringan. However, she included a stark, desperate warning to her siblings. Under no circumstances should they ever accept an invitation from a stranger on the road. nor should they ever eat any dark, black-colored food offered to them by a pale traveler. She revealed that once a human consumes the nourishment of the Encantos, their physical body dies in our world, permanently binding their spirit to the phantom Metropolis. The midnight bus route. Local provincial bus drivers, operating the late night, routes between Tacloban and Samar share their own eerie encounters with the borders of the city. Drivers recount traveling along the dark, winding provincial highways at 2 in the morning, surrounded by nothing but pitch-black forest. Suddenly, the road ahead will morph, expanding into a smooth, multi-lane asphalt highway lined with glowing modern streetlights. In the distance, a massive, brilliantly lit city skyline appears where mountains should be. Experienced drivers know the deadly trap. They slam on their brakes, shut off their headlights, and pray in absolute silence until the illusion clears. They know that if they continue driving down that smooth, glowing highway, the bus will cross the dimensional threshold, disappearing from our world forever. The satellite blackout. In the modern era of digital mapping and global positioning systems, skeptics assumed that the legend of a hidden city would easily be debunked by technology. Yet, the internet age only added fuel to the paranormal fire. In the early days of open-source satellite mapping, users noticed a highly unusual anomaly in the interior forests of Samar. A specific, massive sector of the jungle appeared completely blurred out, pixelated, or rendered as a solid, unnatural black patch on the screen. Whenever developers attempted to update the high-resolution imagery of those specific coordinates, the mapping servers allegedly crashed or experienced massive data corruption. Tech companies blamed standard cloud cover and rendering errors, but mystics believe the city's immense electromagnetic and spiritual field naturally distorts human digital sensors. The scientific illusion. Anthropologists and environmental psychologists offer a fascinating, rational explanation for the persistence of the Biringan myth. The dense rainforests of Samar are notoriously prone to heavy, shifting mountain mists and unique atmospheric refractions. When an exhausted traveler or a sleep-deprived truck driver navigates these unlit roads at night, a phenomenon known as fata morgana can occur. The moonlight hitting the dense, uniform canopy of trees can create a complex optical illusion, projecting a mirage that resembles a distant, glowing city skyline or towering structures. Combined with the deep cultural belief in the Encantos, a simple trick of light and shadow is transformed by the human mind into an authentic encounter with an invisible kingdom, the city of the mind. Whether Biringan City is a genuine, multi-dimensional gateway coexisting alongside our physical reality, a brilliant psychological mirage born from the isolation of the deep jungle, or a cautionary tale designed to keep people from wandering off the safety of the main roads, its power over the imagination is undeniable. I love looking out at the beautiful, wild landscapes of our provinces, knowing that just beneath the surface of the modern world, the ancient magic and mysteries of the islands are still completely alive. We live in an era where everything is mapped, tracked, and explained by science, but places like Biringan remind us that the world still holds on to its greatest secrets. So, if you ever find yourself driving through the deep roads of Samar late at night, and you see a beautiful, glowing city appearing in the distance, do yourself a favor. Turn the car around, don't look back, and keep your feet firmly on the ground.